everyone, and welcome to another useful session of Career by Design. So, Heraclitus famously said, the only thing that is constant is change. Change in your career, change in your personal life, change in your community and organizations. One of the most effective ways of dealing with change is lifelong learning. So are you excited for today's learning event? Everybody, you can type a yes in the chat box so that we know that we are all on the same page and we are all 100% alert, because a lot of learning is going to take place in today's event. Yeah. And very shortly, I'll share, a poll. So you can just type in your vocation, etc., so that we know, today we can understand today's audience better. Right? So we are, everybody just type in a yes if you are excited for today's session. So, today's session of Career by Design, it addresses one of the most basic, yet many a times tricky issue for many of us here. Yes, you're right. I'm talking about, networking and building one's profile on LinkedIn. You don't even know, but this is one area where sometimes even people who are way ahead in their careers are actually struggling to make an impact. So you can understand, the value of today's session because, and many of you have also been, asking us, what are the right ways to build a professional LinkedIn profile? What are the things that your profile should include or exclude? What are the ways, in which you can build a good network? And how do you interact with your professional network? So these are, some of the issues that we'll be addressing in today's session. But before we kick off today's event, let me introduce you to Career by Design, the initiative, Amazing Workplace, the platform that brings this event to you, Commander Bali, our guiding force, and of course, Shivani Narang, our coach and facilitator for the event, without whom this wouldn't be happening. And last but not the least, Upgrad Recruit, for sponsoring the Career by Design events for this episode onwards. So Career by Design is a brainchild of Amazing Workplaces and Commander Navneet Bali. It's a series of events that we conduct to help job aspirants, be it students, employees, or transitioning officers, to help them prepare themselves for the job market. We do this through workshops and sessions like mock-up interviews, expert Q&A sessions, consulting sessions, etc. Amazing Workplaces is a global employer branding, content and media platform. Organizations from across the globe write and talk about their best practices on amazing workplaces to make themselves stand out as great employers in the eyes of the future employees. Commander Navneet Bali is an ex-Navy professional. He's Director, Northern Region, Narayana Health. Commander Bali is committed to mentoring students, especially in the healthcare sector, to help them take the best career decisions for themselves. Shivani Narang is a creative, skilled and accomplished L&D professional, offering practical experience in facilitation, instructional design, content writing, content development, and people management across various industries and geographies. As a facilitator, she has facilitated various sessions for a wide range of audience and has also designed and delivered robust trainer certification programs. Coming to our sponsors, Upgrad Recruit. Upgrad Recruit is a recruitment and staffing solutions company that supports organizations in building their human capital in the dynamic world of today, when the future is both exciting and unpredictable. the human resource requirements of organizations too have become fluid and complex. Upgrad Recruit simplifies hiring for organizations with an array of products like Recruit Select, Recruit Pro, Recruit Flexi, etc., a deep understanding of business and functional requirements, and a strength of over 100 recruiting experts. Upgrad Recruit has set an excellent benchmark for industry sourcing capabilities and niche hiring skills. And yes, about myself, I'm Ekta, the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Amazing Workplaces. I sincerely believe that people are at the core of every organization and need to be nurtured in an environment of great culture. I'm passionate and extremely curious about the best practices that form the foundation of any workplace culture and people management policies. So once again, a warm welcome to Commander Bali, Shivani Narang, and all of you who have joined here today on a Sunday morning. It just shows how important this workshop is for you all. I'm sure you shall go back from here more enriched with a lot of takeaways. And while I hand over the stage to Commander Bali and Shivani for a quick word, I would request you all to write about your vocation and experience in the comment section so that we know you better. Yeah. Commander Bali?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ekta and Shivani for being here today. Thank you to all the worthy participants who have joined on a Sunday morning. Let me just take 2 minutes and share with you something which has been with us for almost now last 2 years. I think everyone who's sitting here today, every one of us must consider himself or herself very lucky to be alive, to be able to connect on the internet, to be able to breathe this lovely air. What the globe has undergone last 2 years has been absolutely devastating. So for some of us sitting here today, it could be very personal because we might have had someone in the family go through the COVID sickness. For many of us, like students, for many of us who had some issues finding jobs, etc., it would have been very, very difficult time. Imagine 2 years of wonderful college life completely wiped out. And who doesn't want to go to a college, to a university, to a school, and to sit with their colleagues, to do things in the normal way, the way we used to do. So I think at the outset, I'm so glad that all of you are here. I'm so glad that you guys have internet at your places. I'm so happy that you are sitting here listening to a webinar on a Sunday morning, which shows that you are healthy, which shows that you are many more things in your brain, at least right now, are at peace because you want to learn something new, you want to do something different. Many of us sitting here know me personally, and many of you have been through a lot of our sessions. Some of you are new, but I think this initiative of doing something for community of students, job seekers who want to change jobs, I think this was a very, very critical thing that we thought, and the way we designed it, it was very, very important. See, world has been in a state of hibernation for last 2 years. In different, there have been some stages of hyperactivity. Then again, you have a new variant coming. Then again, things coming down. But as we move out of the pandemic now, we will be moving to the endemic stage, as they call it, where the virus remains in the ecosystem, but it is not so harmful. And so we go about our lives in the normal way. You will find that from philosophical thought processes, internalizing ourselves in last 2 years, we will again start running into the rat race. And that is the normal thing which happens, because as the economy will open up, as countries will open up, as we will start again once more running into what we are supposed to be running for our work, for our jobs, for our livelihood, you will see that the race again begins again once more. And before that happens, I think there are some of those platforms, some of those initiatives, some of those things that, all of us sitting here need to do. And I personally feel that of many social media platforms that we have, LinkedIn still is, and maintains some amount of sanctity and some amount of freshness about it, where you really get to connect to people on a professional basis. So you're not putting your holiday shots of Andaman Nicobar, or the change in your DP, and trying to find out how many likes have come on that, but you rather are connecting with people on that platform, writing articles that are very close to your heart. I remember when I came on LinkedIn many years back, and how it's today. There's a huge amount of difference. I write a lot on LinkedIn. I am able to connect to people across the globe. It is sharing of ideas, it is sharing of opportunities. It still has got that, I would say, innocence left in it, to be able to be that platform which helps people somehow. And I hope that LinkedIn continues to be that, because this is one of those platforms who actually gives you that kind of a leverage to be able to talk to CEOs of companies, promoters of companies, HR heads of companies, people who have done something, people who have not done something, people who are failing, people who are not failing, in the various aspects of their careers, people who are starting their careers, people who are professional in their careers, who have spent many years in the careers. So and everyone has a story, and everyone has a lesson to either learn or to impart to somebody. And as I believe very firmly, there is no perfect human being, and there is nobody who has actually reached the stage where he or she cannot learn, or he or she cannot teach. Even a small young kid, who has hardly started, living in this world, we learn many times lessons from them. And there are many people who are professionals in their own careers, have spent 30-40 years in their careers, but still want to learn something. So this process of learning and giving away to the society, giving away to people, continues. And thankfully, LinkedIn is one such platform. And so without taking much time, I once again want to congratulate all of you to be alive today, kicking, happy, connected. And I thank Ekta, and I would like to hand over now to Shivani to take the session forward. And I'm sure all of you will benefit immensely. And then maybe we can have a question answer session, or rather more than a question answer, an interactive session, where we get to learn from you as much as we are able to, sort of give you some inputs that might be valuable to all of you. Thank you very much, and have a great Sunday. Over to you, Shivani.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ekta. And very good afternoon to everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. It's a privilege to be amongst some very elite people here, like Commander Bali. And thank you for the encouraging words, sir. It was nice to get some positive energy early in the morning on a Sunday morning. I'm extremely delighted to be here with all of you. I see a very active participation, 73 people. I'm very glad that all of you are active on the chat window, so I could see the yeses coming in. I also saw an introduction, so I would encourage more and more of you to please quickly introduce yourselves, so we know who you are. We've introduced ourselves. We would love to know who are you. What industry are you from? At what stage of your career you are? What are your expectations from us? My thought would be to make it more of a conversation. Let's talk, let's interact, rather than I running through a PowerPoint deck, which is going to be a little boring. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Ekta, is the screen visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Excellent. So Ekta gave a wonderful introduction about myself. Thank you so much for that, Ekta. Let me take you a little further into the story of my life. I started my career 20 years back. I finished my college. I'm a microbiologist by qualification, who went on to do her MBA. Was totally confused in her career, like most of us are when we start our career. So everybody said, no, upcoming field, microbiology. Yes, let's do that. And then everybody said MBA is very important, so let's do that. Okay, so then college put me into a placement and said, this job is very exciting, get into that. And it was really, 2-3 years into my career when I figured out and said that, no, none of this is what excites me at all. And this is not what I want to do. So I spent the next 12 years of my corporate career discovering what I am passionate about, discovering what I want to do in my life, figuring out, dabbling my hands into many careers, connecting with a lot of people, either to get advice from them or to get an opportunity for them to work on something which I thought is going to excite me. And that's how I, grew in within organizations. I worked with a plethora of organizations. I worked with companies like Oriflame, Timex, the insurance sector, Tata AIA Life Insurance. Then I went to DLF America, Max New York Life. So I went all around figuring out what my life should be. And it was after 12 years that I figured out that, yeah, my passion, my heart, everything lies within L&D. And that's when I decided to quit my corporate career. And I said that, no, now I want to move and do only things that excite me, that I enjoy doing. And that's when I stepped into entrepreneurship. And for about 8 years now, I'm an entrepreneur. I work as a facilitator with a lot of organizations, helping them groom their young people, working with a lot of younger generations and talking about some of the skills that are important. I became an instructional designer because I found content was something that really excited me. So I upskilled myself. I picked up a few certifications to help me move into instructional design. I had been with the industry for long. I had a flair for writing. I also started writing corporate profiles for a lot of, senior professionals who said that, Shivani, you've got great writing. Why don't you write a profile for me? Why don't you write my resume? Or, I need to go and give a talk in somewhere and I need a good introduction. Why don't you write an introduction for me? And that's how I moved into the space of writing profiles, researching, finding out what really works. What does a potential recruiter want in your resume? And what are some of the things that really make a difference? So I moved into being a content writer. Now the journey is still going on. As you can see, the journey has had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of curves. Honestly, if someone asked me 20 years ago, is this where I am going to reach? I would say no, I did not know. But the one thing that has helped me across this journey with my ups and my downs are the relationships that I have been able to build over these years. And it is those relationships, it is those mentors, it is those people who've stood by me, who've had the faith in me, who've known me for a long time, who've given me the opportunities and who've helped me to move forward. And that is where, I very strongly believe in the power of networking. Okay. And that is what I'm really going to talk to you about today. That is something called strategic networking. So we'll get into that, saying what is networking and then what is strategic networking. And then all of us are busy professionals. We've got so much to do. Even though we're working from home, there is just so much that needs to get done. How do I get the time to sit and network with people, right? And that too in a virtual environment. It was nice when I could just walk up in my office with somebody and have a conversation with them, or I could meet friends over coffee and do some networking over there. But now we've gone completely virtual. So we're going to talk about why is it important, how is it that we can do it, and then we'll go further and say that, of course, if we are doing everything virtually, LinkedIn is a fantastic platform. I think it's one of the best platforms that exists, especially when you are into professional networking. And therefore, how do I build a profile that people want to network with me? So somewhere in my career, I also struggled with the fact that I wanted to interact with a lot of people, but people didn't find that my profile was strong enough for them to, look at it or spend their time and energy. Everybody has limited time, limited energy, limited resources. So how do we build that profile that people say that, hey, yes, this is the kind of person that I want to be associated with? People come back to your profile and say, hey, I wish I could also create a profile like that. So that's some things that we are going to talk about today. Ekta had shared a poll. I hope most of you have filled it up. I hope all of you filled it up. We got good 76 participants here. So please, there are going to be a lot of polls that we're going to ask you to keep filling up. Now, throughout the session, I have a lot to share, okay? And I can make it a very boring session by talking. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy the talking because I love to talk, but it's going to be really boring for a lot of you. So please do participate in the polls. Please keep, putting in the chat box and saying, no, Shivani, you've spoken too much. We need an opportunity to talk. Or we have a question here. Please stop, answer us over here. So my chat room is open right in front of me. Please stay interactive. Keep telling me so that I am with you and I don't bore you out. Okay. Okay, on that note, let's get started. So I still don't know about most of you. Can I request you all to please quickly fill up the poll?
One second. Shivani, sorry, actually, I was communicating with somebody on the group. Yeah. Sorry, no, actually, I'm coordinating also.
No, that's absolutely okay. I've just given them 30 seconds to go and fill up the poll. So I hope everybody has filled up the poll.
The first poll we are talking about,
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, so we are just ending that poll. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So we have, quite number of participants. 84% have already filled it up. And
okay, fantastic.
I'll just share the results actually.
Yeah.
Because I understand people are not able to see the results.
See the results of the poll.
So we have 78% of students.
Okay.
And preferably, I think
management
students are there.
Okay.
And 14% in corporate jobs.
Okay.
8% of them are actually the transitioning people. So they are from the defense sector. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
And we don't have any unemployed over here, right?
Okay, fantastic. Great. Wonderful. Excellent. So before we get into what to do, let's do a little bit of self-reflection. It's always good to start with some self-reflection. This is a Google form that we had shared with all of you yesterday, and I hope you all got an opportunity to fill it up. And if you haven't, then quickly jump on to the... Oh yeah, now we can see the poll results.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I hope you all have filled up the Google Forms that we sent you, and you all have got a score of the form. Okay, so where are we today is essentially a score we wanted to have. Now, my humble request to you is that we're not looking into your forms. We don't have visibility of your forms. So please be very honest and upfront to yourself when you are filling out these forms, okay? Because this is for you. It's not for us to assess something. It's for you to find out what is it, what are my strength areas, where is it that I'm doing well? And then of all the things that I need to do, what are those 1 or 2 areas that I seriously need to focus on? So places where you've marked yourself as a 1 are really the areas where you should be focusing, and places where you marked a 3, you're in the right direction. Please continue doing whatever you are doing over there. Okay, I'm going to request Ekta to put another poll over here on what has been your score on the poll. So if you've not been able to calculate your poll, again, take a minute, go to the form. It's a very simple form. It just needs 1 minute for you to fill it up. I actually timed myself. I have Aditya who says he's on a B. Fantastic. Thank you, Aditya. We'll just launch a poll and you can put in your results on that.
1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, I'm Colonel Sumanto Sen. Sorry to interrupt, but I haven't received any Google form.
So actually, it was in the WhatsApp group. It was placed in the WhatsApp group. So
I
I'm just
didn't
sharing
join the
the link
WhatsApp.
again in the chat. Just give me a while. I'm just trying to source the link from and sharing it with you. Yeah.
Okay. No worries.
So whoever
we're going to put it on the chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the chat over here also. If you've not been able to do it, you can quickly do it. If you've already done it, then my request would be if you can, whatever was your result, whatever was your total score that you calculated for yourself. So very simply, what you needed to do was, and for the benefit of everyone, okay, I'm just keeping, the forms there. Thank you so much. Gopi Shetty has put it up for us. Thank you so much there. He's helped us out, Ekta. So if you've not been able to do it, you can quickly do it. If the questions are on the screen, and then you can quickly fill up the poll and say what really was your score. Okay, now I understand we've got limited time, so I'm going to wait exactly for a minute, and then I'll move ahead and you can keep filling up the form and then finding out your score. So Ekta, have you got some responses on the poll so we can move ahead?
We have got 44 responses.
Okay, fantastic. And where are most of the people falling in? Which is the
that I
majority
haven't got the time to check because.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay.
If you give me some time, I can check that in the back.
Yeah, you can check that. So let's move ahead. As you must have figured out, I'm very fond of stories. I'm going to share another story with you. Okay. In the meantime, that people who have not been able to fill up the form can fill it up. And for those of us who have not been able to, okay, I have to. Okay, so for those of us who have not been able to fill it up, can fill it up, and the rest of us can put in the poll. So this is the story of Unni Krishnan Radha Swami. Okay, fresh out of one of the top B schools, and I see a lot of people from B schools and management schools over here. So fresh out of one of these fantastic schools, Unni Krishnan, better known as Unni, joined a leading software company. Unni was technically sound, a great problem solver, and a hard worker. Qualities that any employer looked in a B school grad. I'm sure you all will agree that's what typical recruitment interviews look like. Unni was also sure that with these skills, there was nothing stopping him from accelerating up the corporate ladder. So with stars in his eyes, hopeful of a fat salary hike coming his way very soon, Unni started his first job. Unni spent long hours at work, glued to his workstation, learning new things, finishing projects, solving problems. There was always so much to be done that he never had the time for team lunches and office functions. Networking, as his colleagues called it, was for him a very unpleasant task of connecting with strangers and trading favors. He preferred spending the time he got with his school and college friends. Soon, Unni became the mystery guy who worked in a corner workstation. But most people in the office did not know Unni exists. Project managers were happy to have him on their teams as he doled out good quality work, but none knew anything about him. Before Unni knew, he had spent almost 2 years in the organization. Unni was having a great time, but one day he was shocked to know that his college junior, whom he had referred to in the organization, was promoted. Unni marched into his office, red with anger, and asked for an explanation. His manager informed Unni that he truly believed Unni deserved to grow in the organization. But when he proposed his name, no one knew who Unni was. The panel of assessors had never met or seen Unni in any team lunch or office event. They had never heard about him within or outside the organization. No client ever spoke about him, no team member had anything to say about him, and there was no personal interaction with him. And so his name was quickly dismissed, and they moved on to discuss the next person whom everyone knew about. Okay. Now, my question to all of you, and you can please put, feel free to put it in the chat box. How many of us can relate with Unni? Have we seen someone like Unni? Have we experienced? Are we able to relate? Does the situation sound familiar to you? Are we able to relate with Unni? Yes, no. Okay.
Lot of yeses.
A lot of yeses. Yeah, a lot of us are able to relate with him. Yeah, that does happen, because a lot of us, when we start our careers, or when we get into newer professions, when we change professions, we're used to a particular way. Yeah, I see a yes over here also. We're used to a particular way. Okay. And we've been conditioned right from the beginning that hard work is the key to success. And as long as you keep working hard, well, you will reach where you want. But over the last few years, the world has evolved, it has changed, it has moved ahead from there. And now it's not only the fact that I'm working hard, but are people aware that I am working hard? That is also equally important. Okay. And therefore, what really is networking? Networking is about creating a fabric of personal contacts. It's creating that fabric of people who will support us, who will give us feedback, who will give us insights, who will find us the resources, who will provide us with the information. Okay. So whether that's a person who's standing up for me and saying, no, no, we must discuss this case, or this is a great person and we need to talk about them. Or it's a person who's, when someone asks them that, hey, I'm looking for example, I'm looking for a software engineer. They say, hey, I know a great person. Why don't I connect you to them? Or they are the ones who are, who are there giving you uh, who are the ones who will be able to provide you with opportunities. You reach out to them and say, hey, I'm wanting to do something new. I've been doing this for a long time. And they say, hey, I know a project that you may be interested in, or that may excite you. Let me connect you to this person. And why don't you get to know more about it? Or they are the people who will give you a call and say, hey, I think here's a great opportunity. Why don't you explore it? Okay. Or they may be the people whom you reach out to and say, I've been working for 2 years. I don't know what to do ahead. And they'll sit across the table with you and say, okay, let's have a conversation. What excites you? They'll help you to form a career path. Or they will be the ones who will give you feedback. But it's important for us to have that fabric, have that net that is there to hold us. And when we fall down, that net is there to cushion us. And when we want to, when we want to bounce up, we still have to jump somewhere for us to bounce up. And that's the net which is still there, which is going to help us. So yeah, I can see, I can relate with Uni, and yes, 80% of us have been able to relate with Uni over here. Okay, yeah, it's a very relatable story. I personally believe that I personally have struggled through this phase of networking, not being able to do it, and then learning the ropes and then setting out. So 20 years ago, nobody taught us how to network. Nobody told us that these are the things that have to be done, or this is the right way of doing it. There was no LinkedIn when we started up. But now you have these opportunities. You have somebody like Amazing Workplaces, Career by Design, which is bringing these opportunities to you. We have people like Commander Bali who are there to help us, who understood that, yeah, new professionals require these skills. And while hard work is important, these are equally important things as we step forward. I have Aditya here. He says networking defines your net worth. Very well said, Aditya. Absolutely right. Networking is really your network today. Okay. Now the question here is, but we all have a network, right? If I look at your phone books, you will have some 100, 200 people on your phone books, right? If I go to your LinkedIn profiles, if you reflect on your LinkedIn profiles, you will have 100, 200 people there. You will have 50, 60 people on WhatsApp only, right? Aren't they all my network? Aren't they people who will stand for me? Aren't they people who are going to support me? Aren't they people who will give me feedback? Yes, that's all my network, right? So do we have a great network going for us? And is the network really working for us the way we want it to? So let's quickly reflect a little bit on our network, okay? So you all have a network, and I would request if you have a paper pen around handy, just write it for yourself, okay? So right, how many people do you think are there in your network? Okay, so if you were to count the number of people in your phone contact book and your LinkedIn and your Facebook and all these places, okay, and you look at the unique number of people, how many people do you think are there in your network? 100, 200, 50, 500, whatever is the number you think. Just write that number for yourself. Yeah. Just think, just reflect and say, okay, if I were to do a mental quick calculation, how many people are there who are there in your network? Okay. Now, of these people that are there in your network, how many are people you work with on a day-to-day basis, right? How many people are there with whom you are, they are either students who are there with you, or they are your colleagues, or they are people with whom you have been interacting on a day-to-day basis at a professional level. Okay, how many people are there? And then think that how many people from the original, let's say 200 people, I'm just taking an example, I am assuming 200 people amongst friends and family you would have. How many of them can help you learn a new skill? So if you want to upskill yourself, you want to say that, hey, I want to, for example, I'm currently into IT, but I want to move into people management. Or I'm currently into IT, I want to move into project management, okay? Or currently I'm doing finance, but what really I want to get a job into is, let's say, international finance and not generic finance, okay? Or you may say I'm a chartered accountant, and but I really want to, talk about mergers and acquisitions, and that's my thing that I want to do into. So how many of these people will help you learn a new skill? And finally, how many can help you plan your career path? How many people are there with whom you can go and who can guide you on how your career path should get developed? How should your career flow? What are the next steps you should be taking? What are the skills you should be acquiring? Or probably, possibly, they can connect you to new opportunities if you want. Yeah. So if you've done that, the reason I'm asking you to do that is because we have three kinds of networks. So when we look at networking, networking is a very vast term, but I need to now look at a more focused approach towards networking. And therefore, there are three kinds of networks that I have amongst the people whom I know. Okay. The first are the operational networks, and I'm going to talk more about them as we go along. The first are the operational, the second is developmental, and the third is really my strategic networks. Okay, so operational networks are networks of with people whom you interact on a day-to-day basis, right? These are people who are helping you perform your current work efficiently. So if I'm a college student, then these are my colleagues, my other students in the college whom I have on my LinkedIn profile. I'll probably have a couple of placement officers or I may have a couple of professors on my profile, but largely these are people with whom I'm interacting on a day-to-day basis. If, for example, I'm a finance manager, then these are people who are, who are in my teams, who are in my organizations, who could be my clients, who could be my suppliers. The relationship here is largely defined with the task or the goal that has to be accomplished. And these networks have really come together because there is a common goal that you have, and there's a common end result that there's a KRA that you are wanting to accomplish over here. Okay, now while these are great networks, these tend to be the largest part of our network. So you'll find that 50 to 60% of the people in your network will stay within your operational network. Now, while it's great to have this operational network, what usually happens is that as I change roles or as I change organizations, this network kind of doesn't help me any further, because the purpose of the network was to work currently efficiently, right? So from a college student, the purpose was to, network and do the projects well. But now that I've moved out of college, now I don't need to do any more of those projects, and therefore those relationships do not remain active. And a lot of times, while these people are still there on my network, I may not have interacted with them for months at an end. So while this is a great network to have, and it's an important network to have, the challenge that we face is how do we keep this this network active and going as we go along in our careers. So people who have experience over here, we have people from the defense over here, we'll see that how many of our college friends, MBA or whatever professional courses you would have done, or your school friends, are you still in touch with? So maybe if in your college, I had some 200 people with me when I did my MBA. Even on a WhatsApp group, I don't have more than 20 people. So 180 have completely got wiped out. And therefore, how much great the relationship I built over there over the period of time, it has just got faded away and it is not working to my advantage. Okay, so while these are important networks, because yes, the current has to be taken care of, these should not be the only people that I have on my network. Okay, so those are your operational network. Then comes the developmental network. Now, developmental network are people who help me in my personal and professional development. So it's not only that they are teachers or trainers or facilitators who are going to come and teach me something, but they can also be coaches, they can be mentors, they can be guides, they can refer me to projects, they can provide me with cross-functional opportunities. Okay, and all of these opportunities may not always be my job. Please remember, when you're networking, don't look at everything from a job perspective, right? So a lot of volunteering activities that I did, a lot of helping people out, which I did. So the way I really got into content development was because I was passionate about it, and therefore anyone who wanted a good PPT to be made came up to me and said, hey Shivani, can you please help us look into our presentations and tell us? And I would research and see how it can do it. And that is how I was able to establish a brand. And then I realized that, yes, even I'm passionate about it. And people said, yeah, she's good at it. So when there was an opportunity, people were more than happy to give it to me, saying, yeah, we've seen your work. You've always helped us out do these things. And therefore, here you will be able to do well in this opportunity. So everything is not going to be a job. And therefore, you need opportunities where you can explore, you can try your hands out, you can showcase your skills. And this is what you will do in your developmental network. So typically, these will be your alumni networks, right? Going back to your schools, colleges, having conversations with your teachers, with the people over there. These are strong networks, because these are networks which have really spread out. You don't know who is where and what are the kind of connections and opportunities that they can get for you. Similarly, a lot of professional associations. Now, these days, the advantage is that every professional association does not require you to go there and be a part of that event. There are a lot of WhatsApp groups, there are LinkedIn groups which are formed, there are other platforms which are available where you can connect with people, professionals from different organizations, purely from a purpose of sharing ideas, sharing your thoughts, and cross-pollinating each other. Another beautiful place where I have found to make these developmental networks are going out for a lot of, upskilling sessions. So for example, if you go to an MBA school for a executive program, right, or an MDP, management development program, that may just be a 2 or a 3-day program. And I've seen a lot of people come back and say, Shivani, what will we learn in 3 days? Well, those 3 days will not teach you anything. But those 30 people in that room who've brought in 30 years of experience, who have, even if let's say there was 2 or 3 years of experience of these 30 people, I'm talking about 100 years of experience, 100 years of diverse experience is really what is going to, is going to add value to you. And this network that you are going to form is the network which is going to help you. These are people who've seen you in different situations, who've seen, the best of you when you were presenting over there or sharing your thoughts. These are people who are going to reach out and say, hey, for example, when I went to XLRI for my MDP, I found someone who was so great with technology and learning that I actually did a lot of things to bring that person into my organization. Because I said, hey, I know my organization is heading towards technology and learning. Here is the person who's been doing that for 5 years. I thought I was like I was doing something which was very innovative. So now how do I get this person with me? And, how do I really work together? Because here is the right skill that I have found. So these are your developmental networks. These are networks that are helping you grow. Tomorrow you face a challenge in your organization. You need to look outside of your organization to find a solution. If you stay within your organization, you will not get any new solution. But can you look outside of your organization and say, yeah, I see, for example, I was in the insurance industry, but I picked up a lot of practices from the pharma industry because the way learning was being done there was so innovative and so different, and it helped solve a lot of problems that I was facing in the insurance industry. So these are your developmental networks. These are sounding boards. These are people with whom you can share ideas, share thoughts. Okay. Now, it's not very easy to build this network, right? Let me be upfront about it, because this is additional time and effort that you have to put in to building the network. So you will have to, and a network is not always about what I am giving to the network, what I'm taking from the network. A large part of it is what am I giving to the network. So to this network, you have to give a lot of time. You have to give them inputs. And that is when this network is really going to get nurtured. This is a time intensive network. It requires a lot of time for you to nurture it. Okay. And then the third network is your strategic network. Okay. Now this is going to be a very small part of your network. So if your operational network was about 50 to 60%, this is going to be just about 10%. But boy, this 10% is a very important part of your network. These are people who have the, who have the power to place you in the right opportunities, right? Now, when I say place you, is not, they will not give you the job on the platter, but at least they will put in the right word for you. They will tell you, hey, there is an opportunity here where you must go, and it is a match of your skills. They are people who will stand up and vouch for you. They're going to be your sponsors, right? So these will be typically be people who are senior to you, who are much, so they'll be your function heads, they could be business leaders, this could be client leadership. These are people who have reached where you aspire to reach someday. And because they're already there, the onus is on you to go and build that, connect with them, to build that network with them. Okay. These are more of inside outside linkages. They will champion your ideas. They'll provide you with opportunities. I'll share another example with you. So you've got this Shark Tank happening these days. So a very close colleague of mine was one of the people who've gone recently. I think last week they had their episode aired, and they went to Shark Tank to pitch their business idea. So I was having a conversation with him. His name is Deepak. And I said, Deepak, I really hope you're able to get the funding that you want from this opportunity. So he said, Shivani, I don't care about the funding at all. Trust me. So I said, why are you going there? He says, because the fact that I will meet with some of the leading promoters, and get to build a relationship, a network with them, is really what I am looking for. Because if someone in that league starts talking about me, then if these 7 are not investors, I'll get 70 more investors. But this opportunity I'm going to use to build relationship with people who will form my network, right? To get into the league of people that I want to be in. And what really struck me immediately was, oh, so you're doing strategic networking. And he was like, yeah, but that's what's going to really help me get where I want to be. And that really struck with me. And I said, wow, that's a great thought with which you are going. That don't look at what you're getting right now, but also see what is the long-term benefit that you will get in this relationship. Okay. And it's not always about what I will get. Remember, it's also about what I am going to give to them. That is extremely important. Yeah, Shark Tank is primarily for instant exposure, which is right, which is what he wanted from there. But see, a given opportunity, how different people perceive it and use it is very different, right? Some people have used it for making their brand popular. Some people have used it for getting funds from there. And I found here was a person who was using it for networking. And trust me, I know when he must have come back, he would have had the phone numbers of all the people who were there. That I know him as a skill that you have to acquire and, start networking over there. So the point I'm trying to make is that you will have different you will have to look at your network not as one size fits all, or everybody in the same compartment. But when you look at your network, you also have to say that what are the kind of people that I want. Okay. And therefore, when I said networking is about creating a fabric, strategic networking is doing the same thing, but with a very very consciously doing it to build professional relationships. And what differentiates the networking that we usually do from a strategic networking is really the purpose. What is the purpose behind what you are doing? So as long as you have a clear purpose, what you will be able to be there. So are you clear in saying that if I'm on LinkedIn, then my purpose is, for example, to get a job, for example, to get placed, for example, to move from particular, let's say from defense to the corporate world, is to, is to get people who will help me acquire the right skills. What really is your purpose? And as long as you're clear on that purpose, you will be able to make your inroads. Most people struggle because they're not clear on the purpose over there. Okay, so if you have any questions, please free to put it on the chat box and I'll be happy to take it and answer them. Now, while I'm talking about networking being very important, I also want to share with you the Harvey Coleman model. So I'm sure you're aware of who's Harvey Coleman. Harvey Coleman is a management guru who's done a lot of research on what leads to success in organizations. So he also started up 25 years back with the thought that, hard work leads to success. But soon that dream of hard work leading to success was shattered. And he got on to researching. So he himself is a very accomplished professional. But he went on to research about, a lot of these Fortune 100 companies to find out what leads to success in an organization. Is there a trend to say that what are some of those factors? If it's not hard work, then what really is leading to success? Okay. And he came up with 3 of them. So he said there are 3 things that lead to success. First, obviously, is performance, is the work that you do, the quality of work that you deliver, is your knowledge, your skills, your abilities are obviously very important. The second thing he said is your image. So I'm very great, but do others perceive me as being equally great? So have I built a strong personal brand for myself? Was the second thing that he found. And the third thing that he found was exposure, which said how many people beyond my current work area know that I exist and I am good in this field. So he says these 3 things, and after researching over 75,000 people in Fortune 100 companies, he came up to the conclusion of saying there are 3 things that are leading to success. It is your performance, it is your image, it is your exposure. Okay, but he didn't stop there. He said, let me also find out which of them is the most important. What is the contribution of each of these to my success? Okay, now before I tell you what Harvey Coleman found out, I want to ask you, okay, and we'll put up another poll over here. Which one of these do you think is most important? You can quickly submit the poll. Okay, I see 2 questions over here. I'm going to just answer those questions. Let me finish this model and then come back to your questions. So which one do you think is most important? Do you think performance is most important? Do you think image is most important? Or do you think exposure is most important? Yeah. And if you can share the results with us. You're on mute, dear.
I'm just waiting for more people to
Okay.
fill it up. Yeah. It just takes a sec, fill it up.
Yeah, it pops up on your screen. You don't have a choice but to do it. It won't go away like that.
So till now, 50% say exposure,
Okay.
30% say performance, and 19% have vouched for image.
Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, another 30 seconds if someone wants to give an answer. If you're still wondering, you've got broadly.
30% people still haven't filled it up.
Okay, come on, what are the 30% people doing? It's not a lazy Sunday afternoon. It's nice, bright, sunny.
Okay, so we end the poll in a few seconds. Yeah. So mostly people, 48% say that we have 77% people who have filled a poll.
Okay.
48% say exposure, 34% say performance, and images again 19%. So I think, it's consistent.
Fair enough. So quite close to what even Harvey Coleman found out. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So he said that your performance is just 10%. Okay, it's the reason you are there. It's the entry ticket, it's the gateway. If you did not have the performance, you wouldn't be in that league at all. 30% he says is your image, is your personal brand. How have you built yourself? So if people see you or see your digital image today, what is the impression that they are forming? Okay. And 60%, he says, is the exposure. So exposure, he said, has the maximum impact. So even if you are an average performer with a good exposure, your chances of success are higher than a great performer with a very little exposure, which is what we saw in the story of Unni Krishnan, right? And that is why your exposure is really important. So someone asked me a question. Okay. Yeah, I have Devashish who said, what mediums are currently best for long-term networking? Well, digitally, LinkedIn is one of the best mediums for long-term networking. Okay. While LinkedIn is going to help you stay connected, it is not to say that you can just remove the human touch from there and you never stay connected and you only show your face on LinkedIn. No, you still have to have that face-to-face connect with people, even if it's dropping them a call once in a while or wishing them on their birthdays and anniversaries, or let's say once in 3 months, 6 months, catching up and saying, okay, this is what's happening in my life and how things with at your end, whether that's over a phone call or whether that's over a face-to-face meeting. But to stay, on top of mind recall of people, because that's not something that you can do every day with everybody, LinkedIn is one of the best platforms. Okay, so so it's like this, when a feed comes up on LinkedIn, it does tell me, oh, this person is here and this is what they are doing, and it gives me a little insight into what they are doing. And that is how LinkedIn keeps you on top of mind of a lot of people. Again, it does not take away the human touch. The human touch is still required for networking, to be able to call up people, to be able to meet with them. We've not been able to meet people for the last 2 years, but that's okay. In the next 2 years, we will go out and start meeting up people again. But have I done that occasional phone call? And did I, if I got to know it's their birthday, because when LinkedIn tells you it's their birthday, did I type in and say, hey, happy birthday, have a great day over there, or Facebook, whichever medium you are on. But when it comes to long-term networking, staying top of mind, being connected with people, well, LinkedIn is, I think, the only platform which is going to help you do that at a professional level. Now, I've also seen, so a lot of organizations that I work back with, I've heard people come back and say, I have everyone on my Facebook, including my clients and including my suppliers. And I found it much easier if everybody is at one place. Or I'm on Insta and I get everyone on Insta over there. Now, the problem with that is that when people see you in an informal setting, having fun on the beaches and, partying around, and then when you go to work with them, you expect them to look at you as a professional who is knowledgeable, who's insightful, who's the right person for their business opportunities, then that brand image doesn't match at all. So I can either see you as a professional or I can see you as a personal friend. Okay. And it's nice to be personal friends, but then work doesn't happen with personal friends. I don't see personal friends as knowledgeable and, being able to advise me on things that are important. So it's like, if I want a wealth manager, I want a wealth manager who's professional, who's serious, who is, hands-on, who has the right knowledge. I don't want a great friend who is partying on Goa beaches and, doing that kind of stuff. So the beauty of LinkedIn as a platform is that it keeps the professional image and it helps you to build a strong personal brand for yourself. So it's not only helping you in exposure, it's also helping you in the image part where you are building a strong digital brand for yourself. Okay. I had another question said, how did strategic networking help you in your entrepreneurship pursuit? So to be honest, Abhimanyu, in the last 8 years, I have never gone out to a client asking for business. People who have been in my network in the first 12 years are really people I'm working with. I haven't worked with a new person. So these are people whom, who've got to know that I'm working, or I had a, once in 3 months, 6 months kind of a conversation and told them that I have moved to entrepreneurship and this is the kind of work that I do. And there are people who've reached out and said, hey, we've got some work in our organization. Shivani, why don't you help us? And therefore, and that's kept me really busy over the last 8 years. In 8 years, I haven't had too much of time for myself. So one of the reasons of moving to entrepreneurship was to say, I'll get a lot of time, I'll travel, I'll party, I'll do a lot of things. No, I haven't got the time for that. So it's only because of the strength of networks that I built in the first 12 years of my career, which have reaped benefits for me in the next 8 years. Okay. Again, you will see I'm not overtly active on LinkedIn. I am there. I do more of personal messaging with people because that's the kind of network that I have already built for myself. Okay. So let's move on to say is, okay, so we've got a couple of questions here. Do you want to run polls on this one, Ekta? Do we have the time? Okay, yeah, we've got these polls here. So can we quickly get these answers? There are a couple of questions that you will get. It's okay to not have a profile picture, a yes or a no. My profile headline should be my current job title and organization, a yes or a no. If someone has not accepted my connection request, is it okay to send them multiple messages? It's okay to have a minimum skill and endorsement section. And to increase my visibility, I must post 3 to 4 times in a day. So I'm going to give you a minute. You can quickly answer all the 5 questions together and then give us your response. And I'll encourage more and more people to please participate. Okay, did we?
We have 64% people who participated in this. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. So I'm ending the poll now and you can
Sure.
get the results. Yeah.
So 79% people say it's not okay if you don't have a profile picture. Great. My headline should be my current job title and organization. Okay, 75% of us say yes to that. Someone has not accepted my connection request. Of course, you please do not. It's called trolling and we should not be trolling people online. So it's not okay to send them a message. It's okay to have a minimum skill and endorsement section is really 50, 60, 40. Okay. To increase my visibility, I must post 3 to 4 times a day. 63% people say no. So yeah, I'll go with these 63%. Ideally, if you put 1 post a day or maybe 3 to 4 posts in a week, it is also fine. Now, what a lot of people end up doing is that they simply share something that they have received onto their wall. That is really not going to help you too much. So while the content may be very good and I enjoyed reading it, I'll remember the content, but I won't remember you. And the idea of enhancing visibility on LinkedIn is that I am on top of mind recall. And I don't want to be the, the nice person who keeps sharing interesting stuff, but I don't know who this person is. I really don't want to be that. So when you are sharing, you don't have to have long posts. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share something which is more original to you. It may just be a quote that you really found interesting, but along with that quote, put some anecdote to it, put some of your own perspective, which is yours over there. Again, a lot of people do a lot of polls, which really don't make sense. Don't be one of those people, because, while your posts can add value, they can also deplete value. So when you are posting, be mindful. Is it going to add value to people? Is it going to deplete value from people? Okay. You want to share a personal achievement. You want to share a personal insight. Great. Don't get very personal when sharing stuff on LinkedIn. Okay. Remember, it's a professional networking site. It's not a personal networking site. So a conversation you had with your mom was very interesting. Today is excellent, but the professional world doesn't need to know it. As long as there's a learning from it, fantastic. Bring out the learning. Right. Your friends, your family may be very happy to know what you said and what your mom said, and then how the conversation panned. But a professional network is not going to be happy doing that. So be mindful of what you are posting. The quality of content is going to be far more important than the quantity that you keep posting. Okay. So let's move ahead and let's look at some of the things that we've spoken of over here. So let's start with profile pictures. How do you think are these profile pictures here? You can put it on the chat box if you want. I've put in a lot of profile pictures. Which one of these or a similar kind of picture would you want to put as your profile picture? So starting from a no profile picture to a family picture to a party picture. Okay, the third one, none of these. Third one, none of these. Okay. Okay, third one. Okay. None, maybe third, none. Okay, so I'll go with the people who are saying none of these. Please, none of these should be your profile pictures. So no profile picture is really not acceptable. Okay, I need to have a face to people whom I'm interacting with. I don't, someone who can't even show me their face, doesn't have the courage to put their picture, or has not made the effort of putting a picture over there. Really, the impact is lost. There's a lot of research which also says that a profile picture increases your chances of getting connected with people by 11 times. So be mindful before leaving your profile without a picture over there. Okay. Now the second picture has got a very poor lighting. While we don't want you to have a professional shoot for a LinkedIn picture, but at least make sure that, the face comes across as bright and it's a professional picture there. Okay. A lot of you said the third one is all right. The third one would have been all right if I had the full picture. I don't want a headless person, the head cut off. Now, this is a very small detail, but it is also telling me that, does this person really have that attention to detail? Is the person checking before doing something? Or I'm saying, okay, if this is the image that I had, then this is only fine, chalega. Okay, so do I have that chalega wala attitude, or am I particular about things? Okay. The fourth picture has a very busy background and therefore doesn't work for us. The one below has a side picture that doesn't work. A family picture doesn't work. A hazy picture. Okay. Now, also, if you notice this, the picture, the third one in the bottom, there's the hand of another person there. So which means it was actually a group picture and you've tried to crop it from here and there and make it fit over there. So again, that chalega attitude doesn't work in the corporate world. And of course, we don't want to see you parting. So what is the picture that I should have? Okay. The picture that I should have, cut this all off from here, is a picture which is a 3/4 picture. Okay. Which shows your head and your shoulders. So a lot of these pictures that I put now are the pictures that are good profile pictures, right? Your face, your neck, and a little bit of your shoulders. Okay, I don't want a floating head, only the head till the chin there. No, that's scary. So I need a little bit of my face, my neck, and my shoulders getting visible over there. Having eye contact with the camera. Okay, because that is when it appears to me that, yeah, the person is talking to me. Yeah, the person is giving me attention. So when I look at the profile picture, the picture is talking to me. So there has to be eye contact over there. Okay, a good lighting, right? A plain or a very subdued background. And it has to be something which is you, which shows your personality, which tells me something about yourself. So maybe the smile on the face, or the attitude that I want, or the passion that I have. The picture has to reflect me. It's not a photo shoot. It's not a marriage photo that I am doing. That, I'm not going to send this photo ahead for matrimonial purposes. But my professional image, my brand image must come out from this picture. So it's like if you had to buy something online, then the image makes a lot of difference. Okay, if the product has a good image, vis-a-vis if the product has a shabby image will seem like a shabby product, and a good image will look like a good product, and therefore your image speaks a lot about you. So be very careful about the image that you place over there. So after you put the profile picture, and I hope everyone knows how to put the profile picture over there, comes the profile banner, right? Now I've seen a lot of people leave the banner empty. So it's like wasting important real estate that you have. Please don't do that, okay? Your profile banner talks about your brand. Use that to talk about your brand, to use that to talk about your passions. So if photography is your passion, you can put in one of your photographs. If let's say innovation is your passion, then put a quote on innovation. If skiing is your passion, or chess is your passion, then put a picture of chess over there. Or if you don't want to put any of them, you can put a quote. You can write a statement that is very you, right? So it's like, okay, let me put it like this. So when we say LinkedIn, okay, we also give a tagline to it, right? If you say Apple, right, we give a tagline to it, think differently. What does the tagline do? It makes a generic product, it gives it a special meaning. So there are so many washing machines, or there are so many chips, or there's so many cold drinks there. Cola drinks are so many, a thumbs up, vis-a-vis a Coca-Cola, vis-a-vis so many of them, right? And more of them are 99% the same. But it is that, the tagline that I can relate with, that really attracts me towards one over the other. Okay, so a Lay's chip may not be very different from an Uncle chip, but it is how it has been, how that image has been formed around it, that I think, a Pringles is very cool to have, a Lay's is okay, but Uncle chips to aise hi hai, right? Or whatever are the brands that you look at. So your profile banner creates that aspiration value for you. It's the place where you can show the difference. It's the place where you can show that, hey, I stand out. I am not the Uncle Chips, but I am the Pringles in the segment. Okay, I'm not that Nokia ka purana wala phone, but I'm the latest iPhone. Phone is a phone, but it is, the ensembles, the look, the feel that has really given it a prime place. And that is what your banner can do. Okay, if you don't want to do too much on your banner, at least have an interesting picture over there. Don't just leave it blank over there. But a good idea is to write that one statement that resonates with you. If you have a personal brand statement, please put that personal brand statement over there. If there is something you're seriously passionate about, please put whatever you are passionate about over there. Is it advisable to put up the organization's logo as your profile banner? Well, if it is your organization, then it's a good idea to put it. But if you're working for an organization, then no, then that's not a good idea. Okay. And I'm going to just move ahead and talk about the fact that please don't define yourself by your current organization, right? So when you say everything I'm centered around is my organization, then there is no personal brand that you have built for yourself. Okay. So if I'm working with X organization, great. That is one part of my brand or a part of my personality, right? But there is much more that is there to me. And I want my profile to talk about that much more and not get restricted to that one organization that I am. Okay. The other flip side is also that, so here's another banner. So here, if you look at this one, the person has put in a personal statement. Now, this person is a coach and therefore has put it right up front saying, if you're looking for a career coach, here I am. but that's an entrepreneur's website. If I'm an employee, then if I get too associated with my brand, then the ups and downs of that brand will have an equal impact on me also. And I don't want that happening over there. Okay. So keep something which is original, keep something which is more about you. Remember, LinkedIn is your digital presence. Okay. It is not the company's page. The company has their own page. The organization will manage their page. This is your brand. So your brand is not only your current organization. It is a lot more. It is your passions, it is your interests, it is your skills, it's your abilities. It's what makes you uniquely you. It is your USP. Okay. Well, we are students of an institute and we are student brand ambassadors for the institute. So we can keep our college banner. So again, Gopi, it's a choice that you have. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but do you have an identity which is beyond being a brand ambassador of the institute? Okay. And you will be with this institute for another few months. So do you want a prospective employer to see you as an ambassador? Or do you want them to see you as a brand which can add value to their organization? Okay, so it is about the kind of brand that you are wanting to build. It is your choice what brand you are going to build. That is purely a call that you have to take. But if you ask me, I would say that I want to build a brand which is agnostic of any other organization. It is uniquely me. And here is real estate. Here is important space I'm getting to make it uniquely me. Okay, so that's your profile banner. And then comes your profile headline. So again, just like your banner, and we had a question there, should my headline have only the name of my organization and the designation? Again, while it's an important part of the headline, please also add what is the value that you add. Okay. So one of the organizations I work back with is EY. Okay. Now EY has 10,000 consultants. So if a person writes consultant at EY as their headline, well, you are 1 in 10,000 people who are there at that level. How are you different, right? So if you say I'm a data scientist, fantastic that you're a data scientist, but today there are thousands of data scientists. How are you different? What is so special about you that differentiates you from others? Okay, and that is where the value you deliver must also come over there. Okay, so I'm driving growth for my stakeholders. I'm driving innovation. I'm looking at new technologies. What is it that makes you different? So if again I talk about consultants at EY, what have you done at EY in the little time that you were there that is different? Or what is your aspiration? So a consultant would be in mergers and acquisitions also. You may be in audit also. You may be in performance improvement. You may be in technology consulting. You can be in so many spaces. What is so unique about you? How do I know who you are? Because there are 10,000 of them. So you are like, in the ocean of EY, you are one fish. Okay, there are 9,999 more fish. I'm really not excited to come and connect with you. Or if you send me a connection request, it really doesn't excite me to say, oh yes, let me at least look into this person's profile. Unless, of course, I'm a recruiter who's wanting to recruit. But if you want to make your profile as someone whom you send a connection request says, oh, wow, that's interesting, I want to know more, and therefore clicks on your profile to know more about it, then your headline, your banner, your picture has to build a brand, has to talk to your audience, has to speak their language, not what you think is the easiest or the most comfortable. Okay, so your headline therefore becomes so for example, I coach SMB SaaS founders to accelerate recruiting revenue towards this amount. Okay, so that's talking about the value that you are willing to deliver. Developing internal tools for sales and productivity, that is what is my specialization. So you need to look at what is the value that you are delivering or you wish to deliver over there. Can headlines be something that describe us professionally? Yes, absolutely, all right. It can be some keywords talking about the skills that you have. It could be some phrases that tell what is the value you have added to the organization. It is about you professionally. So what work do you do? Okay. Another thing I have often seen is what people do is they will pick up their job description or a job description of the job that they want and paste it on LinkedIn. Okay, that's fatal. That's a sin. Please don't do that. because other people are equally smart to understand where you just copy pasted from somewhere. Okay, so don't do that over there. So yes, describe yourself professionally, describe your skills. You may not want to give a sentence, but you may want to give 3 or 4 key words saying, I'm a key account manager, I'm into market research, I'm into market analytics, I'm into market insights on digital marketing. So you may want to give 3 or 4 keywords over there. I say I'm a facilitator, I'm an instructional designer, I'm a content writer, I'm an assessor. These are 4 very unrelated fields that I work in and that have my expertise, and therefore I have put all of them over there. If you're looking for a job, can you put in your job description? No, you won't get a job. You can put it in, but it won't get you a job. Okay, it'll only get you rejections. Any example for a student? So again, if you are a student, what defines you? So for example, you may write that I'm a marketing student with passion in, let's say, market development, new market development, okay? Or you may say, I'm a finance student aspiring for, or, I'm a finance student developing skills in mergers and acquisitions. So it tells me what is the kind of thing that you are passionate about, okay? Now, please, there has to be something to back it. So if you're saying that I'm a finance student or I'm a marketing student and I'm interested in market insights, then have you done anything for insights, right? Did your summer project have market insights? Okay, you didn't get a summer project which had market insights, but what have you done to say that I'm so passionate about market insights? Have you studied some market? Have you taken an additional course on markets? Or do you have your own research to back it up and say that this is about markets? Okay, so as long as you have something to back it and say that, yeah, I'm passionate about this thing and I have some area of expertise over here, fantastic. So you may say, I'm an HR student who's passionate in people development. And then, yes, you should have studied people development. You should be aware of what is latest happening in people development in the industry. Have you read what different companies are doing in people development? What are the new practices? What are the new policies? The information is all on Google. If you're passionate about it, well, you should have made the effort of reading about it also. Okay, so don't just write it because it sounds good, because people will question you around it as students, but have something to back it. But don't just say that I am a student of XYZ Institute. That doesn't add value. Okay, what is your specialization? What are the kind of projects that you have done? What is the area where you want to get into? I remember even when I was doing my MBA, we used to get a lot of these opportunities to work with professors on research papers, right? Have you really done something on a research paper? Or are you, if you're saying I have great leadership qualities, are you a part of any of the leadership committees, right? Have you participated in some of the competitions which is related to something that you say I'm passionate about? So you have to build your profile, and then that brand has to come in over here. I hope that answers your question, Abhimanyu. I hope you've got some examples from a student perspective. Okay. So then you need to have a headline over here. Okay. Then comes your profile summary, right? Now, if you notice, I have from the beginning been giving you stories, right? I could have told you the same thing on bullet points and PowerPoints and said, oh, my introduction, here is my introduction. I've got 20 years of career, 12 years in corporate world. These are the organizations. This is my qualifications. This is this, okay? It just makes it boring. But when I weave it into a story and I have, I make it interesting, I make it real, I make it live, then I'm able to connect with my audience. I'm able to hook my audience. People want to read it. We all like interesting stories. We don't like boring management books, which are giving us a lot of gyan, right? But if there is someone who's told me the same information in a nice story, I really like it. As management students, you must have seen this speech of Steve Jobs, which he gave in Stanford University. It's a very famous speech, right? He gave 3 stories, right? So when you give a story, you are able to engage with people. Right? So build your profile as a story. Tell your story. What is so unique about your story? How did you start? How did the journey go? How did you land into a management school? Why are you there in this management school? Or for people who are moving out from defense, why are you wanting to move out? So now, how was your journey in the defense services? Even if you're a student in your 18, 20 years as a student, by the time you graduate out, you're 20, 21. In 21 years, you've had some achievements. You've done something great in your life. What is that? Talk about it. Okay. People are not only looking at what you've done in your B school, but if in my college, I was, I did something which was interesting. I was part of a team which helped, let's say, which helped work on a water conservation project for the college. Or I was an active member of the TED Talks, or I participated in a lot of MUNs and Olympiads through my school and college years. Okay, this shows me that this person has a track record of excellence. This person has, I look at, as a recruiter, as an HR leader, I'm looking at what are the skills this person has, right? If the person has the skill, the person will use it, right? But like mutual funds, we say past performance is not an indicator of future this thing. I know it's not an indicator, but I know if this person has a good track record, then chances are it is going to get used over here also. So when a recruiter is looking at your profile, reading your profile, they're trying to see what have they done. Are they able to tell me that story which makes them them? And the story cannot be all hunky dory. Trust me, no story which is only interesting pictures is interesting. There will be ups and there will be downs. So don't shy away from writing about your failures. I didn't do well. I wanted to be a doctor. No, I did not pass the exams. So I went into microbiology. I did microbiology. I studied very hard for 3 years, but I realized bahut padhai hai. I can't do so much of studying for the rest of my life. So I moved into MBA. But then these are the life choices that I have made, and they have taken me where I am. Okay. It took me 12 years to discover really what my passion is. But then if it took me 12 years, it took me 12 years. Someone may take 10, someone may take 15. That's all right. But then what is my story? Okay. So when you're writing your profile summary, make it interesting, make it real. Talk about the career choices, why you made those choices. What have been the highlights so far? What are your key achievements? In 3 years of college, you must have had at least one achievement. Talk about it. And if you haven't had an achievement, then please start reflecting and saying why I have not had that achievement. So there must be something outstanding that you have done in these 3 years, something that you have contributed. Okay, which can be anything. It could be a summer project, it could be any field trip, it could be you helped a professor with something, it could be how you help your colleagues, your peers, someone who was going through a bad phase and how you help them through it. There is always so many stories that we have which are real. So bring them out in your profile. Okay, show the value you have created for yourself and for organizations or institutions that you have worked with. Okay. Now, when you say I'm passionate about something, so a lot of people write in their profiles, I am very passionate about people. I love working with people, but I've never done a team project in my life. But I've never worked in teams in my life. Okay. The most dreaded part of my school and college was doing these team projects. So then people see through that you're just writing it because you want to write it. You're not backing it up. So if you say I'm passionate about something, make sure you add a sentence or two proving that, if I'm passionate about it, then I've done something towards it. Don't just write it and leave it over there, because people will question you around it. Okay. So, okay. And when you write your profile summary, make sure it's a combination of paragraphs and bullet points. Don't make it a very long drawn story. Because I have 2000 characters, I have to fill in 2000 characters here. No, even if you write 500 words, but they are impactful, but they make sense, which has some bullets, which is increasing readability. I've broken it down into paragraphs. So each skill talks about one paragraph. It's great. But don't make it one long, messy thing, totally cluttered up, which is not making sense at all. The problem with copy pasting KRAs and copy pasting someone else's profile and writing it is clutter. It's not your story and people can see through it. Okay. So also remember that anyone who's looking at your profile, any senior who's looking at your profile has done the same journey and been there. Okay. So I also was once in college and then struggled and then learned and then became a person who was recruiting people. So people can see through what you have. Be honest and be genuine about things. Okay. Then comes your experience section. Yes, please make it updated. Please keep updating your profile. Now, a lot of people pass out of schools, colleges, but their profile still says the college. Now, that's not right. Okay. Take the time to update your profile and say, okay, I moved out from here and now I am here. Now, the good thing that happens is that every time you will do that, or you will add something to your profile, your entire network will get a notification that, hey, this person has changed jobs. Or if you add a new skill, this person has added a skill. Or maybe you did a course and now you want to add to your training section, skill development section. It reflects over there. So automatically people get to know, oh, this has happened, right? So it keeps you on top of the mind recall also. So make sure your profile is updated. Again, don't write a long, lengthy paragraph just because you have the space to do that. Just write 2 or 3 points which were most significant during that period. So if you've got to explain your college life, tell me 3 things that were really significant. If you want to talk about a particular job, tell me 3 things that were really significant, where you really added value, where you made a difference. And that's enough. Okay. You write 10 things, people won't remember. Okay. There's something we call the power of 3. So if you see there are 3 gods, Om Namo Shivaya is 3. Okay. Eat, love, pray, 3. There were 3 idiots. There are 3 monkeys. There were 3 little pigs. Most of your stories had 3, right? Why this magic number of 3? Because it increases your retention. Okay. 1 we say is incidence, 2 is coincidence, and the smallest number to form a pattern is 3. And therefore, our minds are able to retain it much higher, much more. Okay. So if you put 3 achievements, people will remember those 3 achievements. If you put 30, I will not remember any. So keep it meaningful. Don't fill it up. Just keep it meaningful. If you've grown in your career, let's say you joined as an intern, then you moved on to become an associate or an executive, do mention that in your profile. Okay. If you were a part of, let's say, the cultural team or the canteen team or any of these teams in your college, please do mention that. Okay. It shows that you have the ability to work with people. It shows that you like to take initiative. So do mention these things, right? Sorry, then your educations, your skills and endorsements are all sections that must get updated. Okay, please don't leave them blank. Ask people whom you know to write recommendations for you. Okay, and do write them for others also. As I said, networking is 2-way. You can't say everyone write it for me, I won't write it for anyone. That doesn't work. So write recommendations. If it's a pure recommendation, it does add value. If it's a professor writing for you, it does add value. If you've got friends and family who are working, ask them to write a recommendation for you. It does add value. Okay. So please ask people to write recommendations. Please put in your accomplishments and do customize your URL over there. Okay. That's another important thing that I should be doing. Well, I used to write articles in LinkedIn. Some are like real big, up to 4 paragraphs. Instead, can I share the link of my bloggers and write articles in the blog? Yeah, you can do that. So if you write blogs, if you write articles, if you have a website, today a lot of people like to have their own websites. Please do post over there. Okay. So some people may have a travel blog. Please put a link over there that, yes, this is something that is my passion and I like to write. Some people may, so I know someone who has, again, a college student, really passionate about photography, has built his own website of his photographs. It's a great thing. You write your, put a link over there and say, this is my passion. And here you can go and look at more of my photographs over there. So do write that. So I'm saying any small, big accomplishment should come over there. Don't put in full articles, but yes, do put in the links over there. So LinkedIn also allows you to write articles on LinkedIn, and then those links can be published into your profile. You can do that also over there. Okay. Okay, so that's a lot of what I had to say. Quickly, if I have to sum it up, 1, have a clear purpose. Okay, be very sure on why you are there. The purpose will change from time to time. My current purpose may be to get a job. After 3 months, when I get a job, my purpose may be to upskill myself. Another 3-6 months, when I get to know how to upskill myself, my purpose may be to get a mentor or a coach, which is all right. But keep revisiting your profile every 3 to 6 months and saying, okay, now what is my purpose? Am I clear? Which is the audience that I want to target for this purpose? And how do I get into that league? Okay, interact, interact, and interact. Please do interact over there, whether it is writing a congratulations, whether if you go to any of the, someone's written an article and you share your perspective over there, please do that. But when you're doing that, be professional, be respectful. Okay, that's very important. You may have a difference of opinion, which is all right, but how you will communicate it is going to make a lot of difference. So if you just say, no, I don't agree with you, that's being rude, right? Instead, you can say that I have a different point of view and this is what I think about it. Okay, so how you put it in is very important. Do share meaningful content. As I said, just don't keep sending forwards. Can we put comments or opinions on current issues on the post? Yes, you can definitely do that. Please write your thoughts, write your views. Absolutely. If you can back it up with research, all the more better. Okay. Then join a variety of LinkedIn groups. Now, what people tend to do is, for example, if I'm an instructional designer, I will go and join all instructional design groups. Okay. But that doesn't help me look outward. So have a mix of groups. Have a mix of groups in from your industry and other industries. Have a mix of groups of people who are of your profession and also different professions. Try and explore new professions. So for example, if you join a group of artificial intelligence, it'll be really interesting to know what is happening in that field. If you join a group which is, let's say, of HR professionals, it's interesting to know what is happening in that area. So have a mix of groups. Don't have just one kind of groups. Don't restrict yourself over there. Okay. Review people who are viewing your profile and do initiate a conversation. Don't troll. Do put in a hi, hello. It would be nice to connect. Put in a sentence of introduction for yourself that I'm a student of XYZ Institute. I'm pursuing this course and this is what I'm passionate about. I look forward to connecting with you. And now it's the person's choice if they want to or they don't want to connect. Okay. Please keep upskilling yourself. That's one of the most important things. Once we move out of schools and colleges, we think we know everything and rest experience is the best teacher and we don't need to go back and enhance our skills, which is not correct. So keep, look at what is the new skill that I'm learning every year. Okay, whether it's completely new, it's a subset of a skill, but do add one new certification, one new course, one new formal learning to your kitty every year and bring it on LinkedIn. Okay, your learning agility, your ability to learn new things, your ability to learn and unlearn is one of the most important skills that we see as a recruiter, because every organization is different and I want you to unlearn what you were in the previous organization and come and learn the ways here. And therefore, I as a recruiter will always look at what is the learning agility of this person. How much are they learning? How much are they investing in their own self? You are the best asset for yourself. Are you really focusing on building this asset? Or once you've built the asset, you say, ab to chalte rehne do, ab let it go on. It doesn't matter. So LinkedIn Learning is there. You've got, you don't have to go to institutes everywhere. You can do Coursera. You've got so many other platforms which will give you the opportunity of learning new things, learning diverse things. It doesn't matter what you are learning as long as you are learning. Right? You're learning calligraphy, you're learning painting, you're learning mandala. Absolutely all right. The point is that do you have that in you to learn new things? Are you open to learning? Are you open to things which are different from what you have been doing? So please constantly keep upskilling yourself. Okay. Okay, ma'am, I do connect with people, but I don't understand what should be the frequency and how we can be in touch professionally so that it is genuine and strong. Okay, so you do connect with people, great, excellent. What is the frequency? Once in 3 to 6 months. Okay, you can join a couple of WhatsApp groups, of a particular profession or a particular network, and then be active in the conversations that are happening over there. Otherwise, once in 3 to 6 months, if you can drop a hello, hi, update them about yourself or ask how they are doing, or share something new and interesting with them, well, that's enough. You don't have to be like a daily or a weekly basis. You won't have that time, and the other person also doesn't have that kind of a time. So once in 3 to 6 months should be fairly good for you to do that. Should we accompany our request with a small message? Of course, yes. So when you send an invite, you can customize your invite. That invite should give an introductory line about you, saying who you are, why you want to connect, and then what is the reason for your networking over here. Okay, so I would like to expand my network. I would want to discuss a particular opportunity with you. I would want to know more about what's happening in your industry. So do add your purpose over there. Okay. Okay, Jayati says, adding to Ruchi's question, there are many connections that pour in daily, but they are fraud or add no value. So how can we differentiate on whom to connect with? Well, look into their profile and see. So if it's a marketing post that is coming to you, then it says marketing. Otherwise, look at the profile and see, do you think there is a reason? So just because 10 people have sent you here a connection request does not mean that you will accept all requests. Okay, look at the profile and say that, is it adding value to you? And is this the kind of person you would like to network with? So we said, know your audience. Who is your audience? Is this a part of your audience? If not, you can just leave them there. You don't need to decline it also. Maybe after 3 months, 6 months, you can revisit and say, okay, now do any of these people make sense to me? I may want to accept that invite over there. Okay. But you will have to look at what is your purpose, look at what is your audience, and then decide whom you want to connect with and whom you don't want to connect with. Okay. But what's more important is that when you send a connection request, make sure you have a good profile that people want to connect with. Okay. Okay. But can you elaborate a bit more about the kind of groups we can join being a management student? So see, being a management student is not a limitation. You can join any group. No one is stopping you, right? So it could be groups which are about a particular skill that you like. So for example, if you have interest in finance, then finance. If you have interest in strategy, then join strategy groups. In fact, I would say have 2 or 3 streams that you want to, build your career on, and join a diverse array of groups so that you know what is happening in these fields. You know what is latest happening in this area. So just because you're a student, don't join student groups. That's the worst thing to do. Okay, so look at what are your areas of interest. So if you're a management student, you're specializing in a particular field. There is a particular thought in your mind that this is the kind of role I will get into. Will I get into HR? Do I want to get into finance? Do I want to get into procurement? Do I want to get into strategy? Have 2 or 3 of those areas. Now go and search on, okay, what are the procurement related groups that are there? Okay, and look for groups which are more active, which have more discussions happening. Okay, there are a lot of inactive groups. We don't want to get into them. Look at some of the more active groups. And in those active groups, you can, you see where people are doing more of discussions, and join those groups. So look at, okay, you will say, okay, procurement, strategic procurement, global procurement, sourcing are some of the related fields that I want to be in. So it gives you an idea of what is happening in the industry, what are the new practices over there. Tomorrow, when you will go for an interview, you will have something to talk about. You can tell them that, yes, I know about how barcodes work, and I know how sourcing happens, and I know about some of the challenges that are happening in the procurement industry today. And I do understand how procurement in a retail industry is different from a pharmaceutical industry. And it shows that, yes, you're really passionate about what you want to do in your life. Okay, so join an array of groups. Don't restrict yourselves. Nobody is stopping you from joining groups. Go and join a lot of groups, participate. Even if you don't have too much to share, asking a question that, can you help me understand more about this, is also a great way of interaction. You don't always have to be insightful. The fact that you're curious is equally important. Okay. Okay. Operational and developmental networking building involves people who are in and around your organization, working area, etc. But strategic networking looks challenging. What should be our approach for building it? So currently your strategic network, if you're a student, is going to be largely your professors. Okay, don't undermine the power of your professors. They also work back with industry. They do research projects. They are very well connected. Then there's a lot of external faculty which comes in to teach you. That's another place where you can do strategic networking. Look at your alumni networks and go and see what are the kind of organizations or the kind of roles that you want to be in, and start connecting with them. These are going to be your strategic networks. So I know a lot of colleges call back their alumni to, have interactive sessions. So it's one thing to go have a conversation with them and talk to them and listen to what they are saying. But have I reached out and had a more meaningful conversation and exchanged phone numbers, and or after that send them a LinkedIn request and said that I would like to stay connected with you? Okay, so it's about, those are the people who will be your strategic network currently. Then look into your family connections, right? People in your family or your extended family are also working at various places. Have I built a connect with them? These are easy to reach out connects which are going to help me, which are going to be my strategic networks. Okay. Once you start working, then look at business leaders. Look at, if you're working with a client, look at the client's leadership team. How can I go and have a meaningful conversation with them? Okay. Remember, people will connect with you if you can make an intelligent conversation. If you go and say, it's very hot, it's very cold, sir, you're looking very nice today, or your office is very pretty, that's not a meaningful conversation. But if, for example, let's say you've read a new book, I'm reading Atomic Habits currently, and you have a discussion on that and say, I've been reading this book and I found it really nice. Now that's a more meaningful conversation that you are engaging in. Okay, so don't when you're building strategic networks, you have to upskill yourself to have a meaningful conversation with them. If you're going to let's say if you're talking to someone from the retail industry, right, and today you've thought that let's say one of my relatives, very far off relatives, is a senior position in a retail industry, and I want to give them a call, and or I'm meeting them on a family function and I want to build a network over there, then do some research on the retail industry so that you can hold a conversation with them for 5-7 minutes. So they also know that, oh yes, this is a person who's, I look at this person as a professional and not only as a relative over there. So when you're building a strategic network, you will have to do some bit of groundwork. It's not going to help you to just walk up to them and say, hey, I want to have a network with you, or I'm building my network. No, it's your ability to engage in more meaningful conversations. Okay. Someone had asked me about, what are some of the things that we can post. Your understanding of a particular book, okay, is a great point to start a discussion. Okay. Now you don't even need to read the full book. There are so many applications and YouTube channels today which give you book summaries. So even if you read a book summary and you start a discussion on saying, hey, this is a book summary that I've read and these are my key takeaways, what about other people? That's a great place to start a discussion and start a conversation and get more people giving their perspectives. Now, if you've started a post and someone has given a perspective, please do acknowledge it also. Okay, don't just put the post and then forget about it. Yeah, my work is done, I have put a post. No, it's engagement. It is creating relationships. It's getting to know people, and that really is what networking is. Okay, please tell more about make your first sentence count. So it's about how you start your profile. Okay, so are you saying, so a lot of people will say, myself Shivani, I am from so and so place, or I am, this is my qualification. Now that really doesn't count. That's not making a strong first sentence. But saying the same thing if I say, born and brought up in a small town of so and so, with a passion to make a difference. I started my higher education from XYZ Institute. Now I've said the same thing, but it is how I put it across. I weaved a story around it, which actually made a difference over there. So that's what I say when you write something. One, make sure it's grammatically correct. Please make sure there are no spelling errors and other things over there. But also try and use your words to build a story. If you were to read it, is it interesting enough? Okay. If you were to read that profile, will you be interested in reading through the second and the third sentence? Or you will say, yeah, this is very boring, I don't want to read it. Okay. And since you people are in school, you've got enough and more books to tell you how boring stuff is. So create something more interesting there. Okay. This is my LinkedIn profile. Can you open and suggest any update? And if you could share the screen, it would be great help. Okay, I'm going to see if we have the time. I'll definitely love to do it. There are many groups that put in posts about hiring open positions for some company. How are we supposed to approach them? So you need to validate if they're really genuine. So there are a lot of non-genuine ones also coming in there. There is no harm sharing your profile if someone's talking about an opportunity, but a better thing would be to get to know the opportunity more. Again, if I'm saying I'm hiring for a recruiter, now a recruiter can be at various levels, can be various kinds of recruiters for various industries. So a better idea would be to try and connect with that person and understand the profile better before you start pitching yourself for that profile. Okay. Okay. So last, I usually like to leave my participants with something very actionable that they should be doing. The first thing that I want you to do as you leave the session is identify what is your goal for this, for networking. Okay. What do you want to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months? Second, find out who's your target audience. If this is the goal, then who are those people who will help me get into that goal? So you may tell me my goal is obviously, Shivani, to have a job. Yes, your goal is to have a job. Which industry? What kind of a job are you looking for? Are you looking at a startup? Are you looking at an established organization? So that's also, you need to fine tune and identify what really is my ask over here. What do I want? And therefore, who is that set of people that are going to help me be there, right? And then how do I reach that that audience? How do I expand my reach? So are there more connections? So look into your connections, look into connections of connections, and that is how you will be able to expand your reach. Okay, focus on nurturing relationships. Okay, remember, networks work for you if you build a relationship over there. So don't focus on just getting a job and getting over with it. You may get it once, but it will not help you in the long run. Okay, and last but not the least, please look at what is it that you are willing to offer. So if you want your alumni network to work for you, are you willing to go and invest back into your alumni? Okay, are you willing to invest with the younger students who are like first year, second year, helping them out so that the college is willing to invest more in you? Okay, what is it that you are willing to give? So if you are joining a professional network, are you willing to volunteer and say, hey, there's a event being organized, I would like to volunteer so that it helps me to build my network and get to know people better. So don't only look at what is your ask. Please be very clear, what is it you are willing to give to this network? Am I willing to volunteer and help someone over my weekend? Am I willing to spend my weekends going to my school and having conversations with children in 12th, helping them identify what are some of the career opportunities that exist, or talking about how to choose a B school, right? So am I willing to give back something? Because if you don't give back, networks will not give you anything, okay? So that's pretty much I wanted to talk about. Ekta, do we have time to look at their profiles? Or I would actually leave the floor for you and Commander Bali to share some insights over here. You're on mute.
So basically, it's already 55, 155.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, it's 155. Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah. So maybe, so this person can share, Gopi, you can share it on the WhatsApp group, and
Yeah.
then we can comment on that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That
That
would-
will be a great idea. Please put it on the WhatsApp group, or you can probably, I'm on LinkedIn by the name of Shivani Narang. You can send me an invite and I'll be happy to see how I can help you over there.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sure. So, Shivani, we are done with it. Yeah. Cool.
I've spoken a lot. I think I've overshot my time. I was supposed to leave half an hour for question answers, but I've been talking.
So we have covered a lot of question answers during
we
this
did.
event. Yeah. Okay. So great. Thank you everyone, for being there so patiently and being so alert and attentive during the workshop. We'll end today's workshop with a big thank you to all of you who have joined us here today. And we're really proud to have you all as a part of this wonderful session. I'm saying this from the depth of my heart because, the more people join in, it actually kind of, overwhelms us, and we really feel happy and excited to do our next session. And thank you, Commander Bali, for being a chief mentor and always guiding us at every step. Thank you, Shivani, for being such an excellent facilitator and giving us your valuable time and knowledge. And thanks to our sponsors, Upgrad Recruit, for placing their trust in our venture.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ekta,
yeah,
just one important thing I just came to mind. Can I, with your permission?
yeah, sure, sure.
See, most of the people in the conference today are leaving out the defense. I will just add one sentence for them specifically. So they are students, they are people already employed, and they are people looking for transitioning. So Shivani, if you're already working in a company, is it I mean, LinkedIn has a frame open to work. You must have seen it.
Yes.
So, when you're working in a company, I mean, if you put open to work, then your company knows that you are looking out. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're looking out and you're working in a company, does it not make a sense not to put it? That is first thing. And second is, if you're not having a job, then of course, does it make sense to put it? Because then it seems that you are not getting a job. So that's a very important thing. I always thought to ask somebody. Yeah. So can you?
So usually it's usually people don't use that facility open to work because nobody wants to talk about the fact that I don't have a job and I'm looking for one. And if I already have a job, then I don't want to tell my current employer that I'm looking for one because I still have to stay over here. Okay. So if I'm looking for opportunities, again, a one-on-one interaction with people, with recruiters of that firm, or going to different organizations' pages and then, looking at the opportunities there, or most of organizations today have recruiter details on their pages. So connecting with those recruiters is far more meaningful than keeping it as saying open to work.
Okay, so that's a good point for everyone. One specific point, so that is for the people who are already working. The other group here in the group is the student group. And for them, I would say that, if they have a passion and they want to share it on the LinkedIn, it makes it very interesting because when you then send a request to somebody higher up in the organization and he or she looks at it and he thinks or she thinks that this student has a passion in this, it's very easier to connect to people, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, a lot of organizations that I work back with and I work on onboarding with them. And when we ask them to introduce, we find they are people who have a passion, who've done something beyond academics. Okay. Because if I go to a B school academically, everybody is excellent over there. So how is one person different from the other? They should have done something. Now, a lot of people have done it, but they're not able to communicate it. Okay.
Yeah.
So look at what you have done in your, in so many years, 21 years of your life, and then sum it up and say, for example, now you don't have to be let's say if you were passionate about chess, you don't have to be a national level chess player, but the fact that you've played it for 10 years is also important. So when we say it's a passion, you don't have to make something out of it. You like music, you can have an intelligent conversation about music. Excellent. You don't have to be a national level music player for that. So
okay,
do
perfect.
that.
Perfect. So third thing is about a lot of, veterans or people who are already in the forge who might be transitioning are there. I saw some 18% of the people. My request to them is when you put up your achievements in forge, keep it very simple and crisp because, you're having commanded a ship or taken part in an anti-submarine warfare operation or taken part in a anti-terrorist operation in Kashmir where you did something with a terrorist, or in Air Force when you see that going into those details may not be so helpful rather than being very, very crisp, when you talk about your 4G, because, all of us from the forces are very passionate about what we did and in our, time in the service. But that has to be put in a very, very specific and nice manner because then it makes it very, very important because we feel, that we should talk about what we've done, but maybe it may not be so interesting. So, Shivani, anything you want
I wanted to add one thing over here. So for a lot of, so as I write profiles and other things, for the defense people, we specifically focus on the competencies that you have gained. So if you say that I did I was in a particular mission somewhere, excellent. The corporate world doesn't understand that mission. But what is it? What were your learnings out of it? What were the skills that you used? You used leadership skills, you used conflict management skills, you used great communication skills, you know, in very difficult terrains, you were able to take your people together. So talk about the skills that you have acquired over the years, because see, the career of defense is now over. So what defense understands and the way they understand it is very different from what the corporate world sees it. So if you're transitioning to corporate, you have to speak their language. So talk about skills, talk about competencies that you have acquired. And obviously, when you get into an interview, you can, you know, delve more and say that this skill or this competency I got when I did this particular mission. So specifically for the defense people, when you write your profile, please focus on your skills, competencies, your abilities, rather than focusing on your, you know, the how you grew the ladder or what were the specific missions that you did over there. So
Thank you.
that's
Yeah, Ekta, sorry we took some time, but
No,
it
no,
was important.
actually, in
These
fact, I
thoughts
was
were in my
from.
mind. Yeah.
Nay, it's good that you brought these points up. In fact, I think there's so many things which are still pending. But for the paucity of time, we cannot take all that up. I would just like to, ask you and Shivani to put in some closing sentences for how, this event was. And then I will just inform you about the next event. So just stay tuned, till the last minute. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, Commander
Shivani.
Bali, you can start and then Shivani can take over.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, nothing more to add. I think I wish this kind of a workshop, when I left in 2014, I left the Indian Navy. Somebody, did this workshop for me. These kind of things are so valuable and they're not available in the ecosystem at all. Nobody does it and nobody does it with so much passion. So I think it was an absolutely wonderful opportunity for everyone who was there. This is absolutely amazing, such kind of workshops. They don't happen, and a lot of students, a lot of people who are transiting, a lot of people in the job have so many questions and there's nobody to ask, because you need to ask this to someone who actually is professionally so has the capabilities to answer those questions. Because you can, if you ask a normal person, he or she could answer something which can be either side of the scale. But what makes a difference actually when you have so many questions, I think these things don't happen at all. And so I want to say that it was absolutely amazing session today. Thank you, Shivani.
Yes, Shivani.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ekta. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a great learning for me to understand people over here. What is the current ecosystem talking about? So I really enjoyed it. I understand there are still a lot of questions. So if it's okay, Ekta, maybe some of them can put the questions in the WhatsApp group,
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
would be more than happy to answer them. So if you want me to look into your profiles and guide you, or if you have any specific questions, please feel free to put it on the WhatsApp group. And I may take a little bit of time to respond to them, but I will definitely respond to them. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Thank you, Ekta, for the opportunity.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone, so patiently listening me for the last 2 hours. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you,
so
everyone. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
Ekta.
just wanted to add one more thing. We all three are available on LinkedIn also, WhatsApp group also, whichever feels comfortable. Please, you can put in any query. If I don't understand it, if I don't know it, I'll get back to Shivani or Commander Bali or anybody else, and I'll definitely help you out. And they will also be, more than willing to help you out. So just stay patient and keep on. You can ask whatever you want to ask. Okay, and now I'll just quickly close in by telling you about the next workshop. So, our Career by Design, the next workshop will be held on 27th February on the topic of learning how to build a video resume. And all those who have already selected to be a part of this workshop, don't leave the WhatsApp group, because we'll be keeping you informed on the same group, and we shall be sending you reminders and joining link there. Others who wish to attend the workshop can join or remain a part of that WhatsApp group and to stay updated. Or you can follow us on Amazing Workplaces. You can follow me or Career by Design pages, because we'll keep on updating information about the next workshop and the future workshops there itself. And just one more thing, in between Shivani's presentation, she spoke about the power of telling a story. So on our YouTube channel on Amazing Workplaces, we have one of the events which was actually we did about storytelling for your resume and your job interview. It was done by Vinay Trivedi. He's a head HR. So just check out that particular workshop, and I think you'll get a lot of insights, important insights on how to build your story for your interview and LinkedIn. Yeah. That would be quite useful for you. So you can check that out. Yeah. Anything else, you can just keep on messaging. I'll close this session today with this, and I think this is one of the longest session we had today. Thank you so much for being a part of Career by Design. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Shivani.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Ekta. I'm just putting in my LinkedIn profile. So anybody wants to connect, especially students, okay, they can. I've just put
Shivani,
it
you can
there.
also do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
And I put mine on the WhatsApp group. So anybody wants to connect with Amazing Workplaces or me, they can.
Okay. Thank you, Ekta. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Have a wonderful time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
And
Bye-bye.
you can
Thank
put in
you.
the testimonials also. We'll use some of these, for social media, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.